Welcome to H2K Infosys. H2K Infosys is a e-verify business based in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. We provide 100% job-oriented, instructor-led, face-to-face, true live online software training programs. It also includes access to Cloud Test Lab with software tools. We provide live project for you to work on. We also provide assistance with mock interviews, resume preparation and review, and job placement assistance. H2K Infosys is trusted by so many students across the world. H2K Infosys provides world-class services in IT training with real-time project work for corporates and individuals, special IT training for MS students in the United States, software design, development, QA manual and automation, performance testing and maintenance, IT staff augmentation, job placement assistance, and tech support.
After that, so Java will say that this is unreachable code. Let us say if you are having some condition, it's C equal to 10. So in this case, Java knows that only when C equal to 10, it will be going to return. So when the condition has returned to true, then only it will be going to return. Like return A, B, C. Oh no, I'm sorry. Now in case of return, you can only return one particular object or one primitive data type. You can't return more than one. That I'll be going to explain it one more time later. That's all with respect to method overloading. Next one is constructor overloading. Vijay? Yeah, Vijay.
No, this is Vijay. Can you please tell the basic this requirement for overloading? You said something about the return type and this one. Just brief. Can you just repeat here? Basic requirement for overloading.
Basic requirement.
You said it has to. The method name has to be same. And the parameters should not.
Okay, yeah, I got your question. See, in case of overloading, the two rules for overloading, or if at all if Java understands or Java was able to recognize that these methods are overloaded, they should follow either of the two rules. The first one is it should be differ in terms of number of arguments, and the second thing is either the first one is either case or the second one is or case. It should differ in terms of data type. So these are the two cases in which Java compiler understands that the methods are overloaded and it will accept the same method name to be provided for two different methods. Let us say you are writing two methods, add of integer A, integer B. And the second method also you are writing it as add integer A, integer B. But you'll specify that the first method won't return anything, and the second method will be going to return an integer result. So these methods, as you can see, it is not following the first rule. It does not differ in terms of arguments, and it was not at all following the second rule also. It should differ in terms of data types. But only you can see that is it is differ in terms of return types. But the return type difference won't be considered as part of overloading. It should follow either of these two choices, and then only they'll be called as overloading methods. If at all, if you're adding one more return type, so one more parameter in C, in this case, you can see that it has followed the first rule, and it also differs in terms of return type. So either it can differ in terms of return types, or it can use same return type as well. Is that fine, Vijay?
Perfect. So basically, if there is no return type, if we say void, we can't even initiate, right? We cannot call. Like we have to have a variable to call it, right? It's like a function method.
Return type will be going to use.
If you assume that the first one is a void.
Okay.
The void. So here, when you initiate, when you call the add, you cannot say x is equal to add.
Oh yeah,
in
correct.
case of
Because you are not going to return.
Sorry, right?
Okay. Yes, you are correct. Yeah, the next concept is constructor overloading. We have already seen about constructors in the last class, and we have already written two constructors within our box class. The first one is default constructor we have written, and the next one is parameter constructor, which accepts three variables: height, width, and depth. The same concept which we have learned for method overloading, here in constructor overloading also, we'll be going to use the same name as sort of the class name, because then only we'll call them as a constructor. It should differ in terms of number of arguments, or it should differ in terms of data types. Still holds the same or rules which we have discussed with respect to method overloading. But only thing is, here you can see that we won't be having, we can have arrays also as a data type in a method. I'll be going to explain that. Here you can see that the first one doesn't accept any parameters, and the second one accepts 3 parameters. And these two constructors are called as overloaded constructors, and the process is called as constructor overloading. Go back to our box class. So here you can see that the first one is default constructor, and the next one is parameter constructor calling. Let us take our example which we have used, like box 1 we have created, and then we are trying to create a box2 object by using box 1 reference. At that time, it was pointing to the same object in the memory. This is our box 1. This is our box 2. And it was pointing to same box object in the memory. Box object. So in this case, whatever the dimensions, let us say we have given the dimensions as 3, 4, 5. Let us say we don't want the box2 also pointing to the same reference, and we want to create a separate box, but we want the dimensions, we want the same dimensions from box 1 object. So you have already created one box object. Box 1 you have created with the dimensions 3, 4, 5. But here we don't want to process in this way, because it won't create a separate object in the memory. It will just copy the reference, or it will point the reference to existing object itself. Let us say we want to create the box 2 also 3, 4, 5, or taking dimensions from box 1. So in that case, what we can do, we can just go to our client code we have already created, or else let us write one more class. Class duplicate box. I'm just copying the existing code. Now I want to create a box2 object. So currently I have created a box2 object. But the dimensions, what the client is telling, the client is asking take the dimensions from existing box1. So we have second constructor available. Here you can see that I'm using the default constructor and I'm passing the data. So this time I want to use the second constructor, which accepts three parameters: long, depth, height, and width. So take those three variables: box1 dot depth, box1 dot height, box1 dot width. So when you call box1 dot depth, you'll be going to get the actual value for the box. See, currently we have the access to these three variables as direct data. That's fine. But let us say if we don't have the direct access, if you don't have access to these variables directly, then what we are supposed to do? See, in this case, if you go and call the calculate volume method, at all, if you want, we can just go and check that one first. Volume 2. Let us go and execute the code, then we'll change. So now you can see that you have constructed the first object, and once after that, you have created a box with the same dimensions as that of box1 by taking the dimensions from box1 object, and then you are executing the volume method, and you can see that you are able to get the same value for both the methods. But let us say we don't have access to these variables, and you already know that the box object is not interested to provide the data like this, or else you can see that the box object is interested to write one more constructor which accepts directly a box object. See, you have a box object available like this. Five, 10, 15. So previously what you had done, you just took the values from the box1, took the values or the variables from the box1 object, and you have passed to the constructor. But this time I don't want to pass the variable separately, and I want to pass the box object itself directly to the constructor. So what I am doing, I'm just taking the entire box object, and then I'm asking the box class to create one more box object based on these dimensions. So whatever the data that you are sending now, here you are sending by dividing the data and passing it to the box class. But currently we don't want to send the data. We don't want to send the data individually, and I just want to pass the data as an object. By using methods, you can send primitive data types, and you can also send objects as well. Until now, we have seen how to accept the parameter in terms of primitive data types. Here you have seen the primitive data types. Just like the same way, you can also send objects as well as a parameter. So currently you are sending this as a formal parameter, and here you are accepting the box as a actual argument. Now you got the data. So what you can do, you can just retrieve the information however you have passed, copy, and then you can store it to your new box. Whenever you will refer to this, it will be going to refer to the current object. from our duplicate box, we are calling new box object. So new means we are asking to create memory. We are asking the JVM to allocate memory, and then we are specifying to call the constructor which accepts a box1 object. Box1, what is the data type for box1? The data type is box. So the call will then JVM will identify, are there any constructors which accepts a box object? Yes, there is a constructor available. Once after creating the object, what is the purpose of constructor? The purpose of constructor is to initialize the object immediately after the object creation. So whatever the object it has created, let us say it has created a new box object in the memory. Now it has created new box object in the memory. And once after creating the box object, we are supposed to assign the default values, or else you have the option of specifying or initializing the data by using your constructor. So currently for the new object, what I am doing, I'm taking the data from the existing object 5, 10, and 15, and I'm preparing my new object. That's what I'm doing at this level. The right side, getting the information from existing object, and I'm assigning it to my new box. That's what I'm doing at this level. So that means you can also pass objects as references to your method parameters or constructor parameters. So here you can see that I have 3 different constructors. The first one which accepts 3 long variables, second one doesn't accept anything, and the third one which accepts a box object. Just a second. That's what I have mentioned, Vijay. If we say box2 equal to box1, it will be going to point the reference to the existing object. It won't create a new box object or new allocation in the memory. If you print the object now, the box2 object, it contains a different memory allocation representation. And in case of box1, it contains a different memory allocation. But you say box2 equal to box1, it will be going to use the same object, and it won't create a new object in the memory. Pass by value and pass by reference. This is also the related topic with respect to our method parameters and actual parameters. So let us take a scenario first. Let us say you are declaring 2 variables, or else let me directly go and write in the Eclipse. Let me comment all the different methods, or else I don't want to call the remaining methods. I'll just call only integer method 10, 20. Declare 2 variables for our understanding, int a equal to 10. Pass by value. Just take this method code, now with respect to our class, create an object, pass by value PBV, new pass by value, and then pbv dot add method. I'll be going to create two integers, int a equal to 10 and then int b equal to 20. Int c equal to return value plus c. Let us say this will be going to return the value as well. Let us go and execute the code and then we'll modify that. So addition of two integers 30 and the return value is 30. So as expected, this is fine. But here as you can see, the method accepts two parameters which are a comma b. So these parameters are local parameters for add method. But here in static void main, in main method also, I have declared two variables which are having the same names a comma b. The parameters, whatever that you have specified here and the parameters you have specified at add method, they are entirely different. These are local variables to add method and these two are local variables to add to main method. So when you pass the data, when you call pbv.add method, here you are calling the add method and you are passing some data. So during the execution, the data will be going to replace here add of 10 comma 20 and then it will be going to call this particular method. So that means the data whatever that you have sent here will be copied to the variables a and b at your add method level. See, the reason why I have used the same parameter names at two different methods is only for my understanding purpose. This method accepts two parameters a comma b and I'm trying to pass those same parameters. That's what my understanding. But when you have sent the data or when you have called the data by passing some parameters, the data will be going to copy to your actual arguments. In the sense, when you send 10 comma 20, the data will, how Java will execute this? Add of 10 comma 20 you are calling. So what Java will do? Java will go and create two local variables 10 a and b, and then it will be going to copy the data 10 and 20 to a comma b values. But here you are sending the data with respect to two different arguments. Those are formal arguments. So in case of primitive data types, so here these two are primitive data types. In case of primitive data types, Java uses pass by value, which means it will be going to copy the data from from formal parameters to actual parameters. So these are formal parameters and these are actual parameters. So that means copy in the sense, let us write one more diagram. See, let us say we are working on a same class and I'm not going to design the class first and I'm directly working on the method. Okay. So in my main method, I have two different variables now, a comma b. A comma b. A consists of 10 value, b consists of 20 value. This is my a and this is my b. Let us assume this is my main method. And on top of that, now what we are calling? We are calling one more method, which is add method. So this is our add method. And in our add method also we have two variables, a comma b. These names also a and b. when you say or when you call this method, the data whatever that you have sent 10, 20. So the 10, 20, it will be going to copy to actual parameters. So here the A and B holds now 10, 20. So the data will just copy to the actual parameters. There won't be any reference between these two variables. So that means there won't be any reference between A, B at the caller level or execution method level. In the sense, whenever you are passing some primitive data types, so here you are passing primitive data type only. So the primitive data type follow a pattern called pass by value, which means the data will be just copied to actual parameters, and whatever the changes that you made, changes that you perform on the arguments won't affect in the method caller. Which means, let us say you are changing the data at this level for A, B. Let us say currently it was 10, 20, and you are trying to change these values to 20, 30. But the data change that you have made to A or B, it was only effective until the method execution has completed. It won't reflect back the caller at all. So let us say I'm not going to take a third variable. I'm just going to use arithmetic assignment operator, which means our A will be going to contain the result now. So now the value of A will be 30. So during the return value, see, this is a return value, which means I can send an integer back to the caller. So now our C will be going to contain the 30 value. But what about our A value at this level? Let us go and print the A value also. Method execution started. The value is 10, 20 passed here, 10, 20. Now we are performing the addition operation. 10 plus equal to 20, which will use arithmetic addition operation, and the A value is now 30. So value of A is 30 now, and it has returned the value 30 back to the caller. So now the value of C will be 30. You can see that the return value has 30, it has printed. But what about the changes that you made to the actual parameter or the method parameter? Will it be going to reflect back to the caller which has passed the data? No. In case of primitive data type, it will just copy the data to actual argument, and it won't make any reference, or there won't be any effect to the parameters whatever that you have made at the method level. So that means here you have changed the value of A equal to 30, but here when I have printed, you can see the value of A is still holding at 10 only. The value of 10 which is available from the local variable. So whatever the changes that you made at the method level, it won't affect back to the caller method level.
So many of our students have given testimonials on how our training programs are. You will find them on kudzu.com and on our website H2K-Infosys.com. On our website H2K-Infosys.com, you will also find more detailed information on who we are, the courses that we offer, what each course covers. Also, if you're interested in a demo program, Please register on our homepage on the left-hand side. Just give us more information about yourself and we will send you a link for a demo class. The demo class is absolutely free. Experience our commitment by just attending an orientation workshop at no cost. Our team of faculty and advisors are here to guide you with the right information. If you still have more questions, please feel free to call us. Call us at 770-777-1269. This is a United States number. If you're calling from the UK, call us at 020-337-17615. You can also email us at training@h2kinfosys.com or h2kinfosys@gmail.com. Thank you for watching our videos. We wish you a great career in information technology.